Who is allowed to do this? It seems like kind of a funny question, but that question presented to me in the last recording while I was speaking. It presented to address this question. And there's a lot that's taught throughout humanity about asking permission, not overstepping your bounds. Maybe this isn't for me. Maybe I shouldn't go here with this. Maybe I don't know enough. All of those kinds of thoughts are all about making sure people don't expand beyond what's taught. It's actually part of the control mechanisms to really get people to continuously doubt themselves. It is throughout humanity, all of those doubts, those self-doubts, and the control and belief systems, most people have no idea that there's anything but that, and there's anything beyond looking to somebody else for permission to use the gifts you have and the abilities that you have, or looking to figure out how to earn your right to use the abilities that you have. So let's address that right here in this context of accessing the abilities that are right there for you simply because they are innate to you, to connect with to connect and communicate with every kind of life form. So who is allowed to do this? Let's address it very, very simply. When we're talking about opening your consciousness and opening up to connect and communicate with off-planet entities, off-planet consciousness, etheric consciousness, or even the animal kingdoms, and honestly with the rest of humanity on levels of kindness and harmony. Who is allowed to do this? You are. Male people are. Female people are. Fathers, mothers, daughters, brothers, professionals, non-professionals. Anybody. Everybody. Everybody who comes to the awareness that, I wonder if this is possible. I wonder if I can do this. I've seen and heard other people talking about it. I wonder if I can too. The answer is yes, you're allowed to do this. And I'm using the terminology of being allowed to do it just to address that the mind often looks for permission, or rather, the mind would look for punishment in case they're doing something wrong. So who is allowed to do this? Anybody that it presents to as a possibility. There's nothing to prove and nothing to earn. And truly, the more you're coming from a pure heart and a heart that's truly open to just connect and communicate, and that isn't intending harm, that isn't open to be harmed, right there you have put yourself forward as this beautiful benevolent presence that says, you know what, I'm open to more than I ever knew was available to me, and I'd love to connect with these off-planet presences, the Pleiadians, the Orions, the Arcturians, the Andromedans, the Plutonians, the Jupiterians, the Venusians, and more and more and more. Whoever presents to you, always remembering that you have the capacity, you have the ability, and it's your birthright that if you are finished with the communication, or if you're ever uncomfortable at any time, you have the ability to say, this communication is over, you need to leave now. And when that's absolutely true, boom, you have the command of the entire situation because you're playing in consciousness. So as you begin to open up and play more, just notice if you start to have feelings of self-doubt or feelings of unease. And let's not get mad at yourself if those sorts of things come to the surface, because it totally makes sense. It's been programmed into humanity for eons and eons and eons that you should be afraid of punishments, that you should be afraid of what's coming down the pike, that, you should probably hide what you're doing because somebody else may not understand, may not approve, and, well, really may not understand. When you start opening up to consciousness like this, and you start playing with your abilities, a lot of what you're doing is giving yourself the permission to step beyond all of those judgments and begin to explore the abilities that are here for you, that are innate to you. So, who is allowed? Actually, we begin to transcend that whole paradigm of being, whether we are allowed to or not, and begin to start recognizing, what are my innate abilities? What is my innate capacity to connect and be in communion and in harmony with all of life? Now, all of life includes yourself in physical human form. It includes yourself in expanded dimensional realms. It includes the animal kingdom, the plant kingdom, the mineral kingdom, the planet as a living entity. It includes guidance realms, angelic realms, archangelic realms, ascended host realms. It includes off-planet, or whatever word you'd like to use, alien awareness and consciousness. It includes consciousness of multiple universes. And it includes the consciousness of creation as a whole, creator consciousness. You are, because you are an aspect of that, you are a unique facet. You have innate connection with all that is, and all of these different expressions of creation through forms of differentiated life. So when we're going off planet, there's also a lot that's been taught about races that are not of love, that don't have the highest good of humanity in mind or in intention or in their creation. Actually, let's just go with it that way. They weren't created to be of the highest integrity to humanity. And all of that was a part of the opportunity to transcend conflict as a whole, as a species. So there are absolutely races out there who were created and designed to be disruptive. But this is the beautiful part of getting to play this way and really, really dancing in the off-planet playground. You, as an aspect of creator, have the capacity and the ability, when you encounter these ones, to watch how your body responds. You know, if you are presented with one of the disruptive presences, watch how your body responds. As we talked about in a previous episode, your body will never lie to you and will always give you a heads up of whether or not you're in the presence of love or in the presence of something disruptive. When you're in the presence of something disruptive, you have the capacity and the ability to recognize that your body as an instrument of consciousness is saying, hey, this right here is disharmonious. And your body will present you with tension or flutters, or just, it's unique to everybody. But when you start to really listen to the communication through your body, you'll start to get more and more clear on when your body's giving you a heads up in one direction or another. The more you listen to that, you start to engage with your own presence through your body. And if you're presented with a disruptive off-planet presence, you have the capacity as creator to come down right into your body, feel the truth, your own truth, that I'm not available for anything less than love, and you are not welcome here. You need to leave now. And as you communicate that, they have no choice. There is no off-planet race that has a consciousness more powerful than yours. When you claim yourself and speak your truth congruently, and you can feel that resonance of your own truth through your own body, there is nothing that can overpower that. That's a huge part of the beauty of what we're playing with here, and why we're sharing all of this. Because as more people open up, then more and more people are going to encounter the possibility of disruptive presences. Now, that doesn't mean that there's a battle out there waiting to be fought. No, it's actually exactly the opposite. We have the opportunity to step out of battle just simply by recognizing our capacity to say, you are not welcome here, you need to leave. Just recognizing that capacity and then using that capacity should the situation arise, which is different than going and looking for it, because that would be a battle again. But should the situation arise, you have the capacity and the permission and the empowerment to just let disruptive presences know you are not welcome here. I'm not going to engage this. You need to leave. What that does is not only frees you from the disruptive presence of any off-planet race, what that does is it addresses that disruptive presence on behalf of all of humanity. You, at that point, are acting as an instrument for all of humanity to let this disruptive presence know, no, we will not tolerate this anymore. It's time for you to leave. I see it. I'm commanding it so, and so it is. Again, when we're playing at levels of consciousness, you are absolutely empowered, absolutely free and welcome to use this ability to engage with yourself as creator. And if and when these sorts of presences present to you, you have that ability to essentially bind them home and let them know this is not welcome on this planet, in my presence, in my universe. Be gone. So who is allowed to do that? Everybody. In fact, thank you for even entertaining that you have these abilities. And thank you for showing up to play and to even listen and let yourself open to this this level of self-recognition. The more you start to let yourself open, whether it's in this context, in other contexts, really it's all the same context of reclaiming yourself as an aspect of creator and giving yourself the opportunity to play with what that feels like, to play with who you truly are, what you're capable of, and what it feels like to welcome in the empowerment that is your birthright throughout all of consciousness. And then, knowing you are that empowered, to walk through your world and let yourself open up to the things that call to you, whether it's watching the light shows that were provided by our off-planet families and camaraderies, because many of them, that's exactly what it is family and camaraderie. Or whatever levels of consciousness call to you, claiming yourself as an aspect of creator, and then letting yourself be empowered and have tools, have awareness to address whatever presents. That is such a gift. You doing that and you being you is such a gift to all of humanity. So thank you for being here to even consider it and to begin to play with it. We'll be sharing more and more tools as the series goes on. And if you have questions, again, put your questions in the comments section and it'll all get integrated into the conversation. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing to claim yourself. And I love having this context of the off-planet playground. There's so much to share, so much love. And always remember you can go back and re-listen to previous episodes to remind yourself of tools and awareness along the way. I'm just excited to keep sharing more. So thanks again for being here. We'll look forward to the next installment. And remember, you are absolutely allowed to play with your abilities, to welcome in the awareness and the connection and the communion with all of life to welcome in all of the support that is there for you and for all of humanity, very uniquely for everybody. But, it's okay to embrace your own unique awareness. You don't need to prove it to anybody. You might feel like you have something to prove for a while, and that's okay. Ultimately, there's nothing to prove. It's all right there for all of us. And you get to open yourself up and let yourself express from your heart, let your heart be nourished and enhanced through these connections and communions, and know that you absolutely have the empowerment that if it is anything other than love, then you can just end the communication and let them know they're not welcome here. Be gone. Until next time, my friends, have fun being you, and I will talk to you again soon.